Hello, and welcome back to saveourmiddleclass.net. One of the things that I love about being an American is that we always cheer for the little guy. But for some reason, that does not apply during the many months leading up to a national election. People of influence, well-educated people, media people, issues-driven people take our focus off of the little guy and the real circumstances propelling Donald Trump's success. These divisive people do not care about the livelihoods of millions and millions of their fellow Americans. They don't care that those livelihoods have evaporated. They are either in the pocket of the money men or they are stupidly blinded by their own singular focus of a perceived slight or an offhanded and thoughtless comment by a candidate, and they entirely miss the bigger, more pressing issue. These Trump haters rage over these comments in the hope of keeping us divided. We as a middle class cannot remain divided. We must be united, particularly in this election. These people have become obsessed with destroying the person rather than understanding and comprehending the bigger picture behind the candidate. All of you Trump haters fall into this category. Yes, he has lots of flaws and picadillos, but his message brings hope to our poor and our middle class. Megyn Kelly, Charles Krauthammer, Ben Shapiro, Glenn Beck, Dana Lash, Mark Levin, Bill Kristol of the National Review, and those whose articles appear in that magazine, like Brent Bozell, Eric Erickson, Stephen Hayward, Mark Halperin, Andrew McCarthy, Michael Medved, Ed Meese, Russell Moore, and all of the others who are the never-Trump thinkers. You are taking the side of the rich industrialists and the big corporations. You are the supporters of the middle-class destroyers. You support the havoc that they have brought to millions of Americans. You are blind to the fact that they have strangled the livelihoods of millions and completely crushed their lives, the lives of our own citizens. They have dashed any hopes our poor may have of finding a well-paid manufacturing job which will allow them to climb out of poverty. Don't you have a conscience? Have you no shame? Doesn't it bother you in the least that you are supporting the wealthy, the privileged, and their lethal politicians? Here is the only fact that you need to know. Over 94 million, I'll say it again, 94 million of your fellow Americans whom are eligible to work are out of the workforce. That is nearly 30% of our entire population. Not by their choice, but by the very actions of the people you support. What other election issue is more important than that? What is wrong with you? Do you hate your fellow Americans? Don't you understand that it is manufacturing jobs that are critical to America? Do you know that the latest monthly employment report shows a further reduction in manufacturing jobs of 29,000? That is only 1 month, and this has been going on for years. Are you the bought and paid for shills of these wealthy individuals? Are these 94 million fellow Americans invisible to you? Is your mind not capable of grasping the size of this personal destruction to the lives of so very many of your fellow Americans? Do you think that Hillary will negate the work of her husband's trade treaties? She will never, never bring these jobs back. Never. Will Ted Cruz, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, and all the establishment Republicans who designed this dismantling of our American middle class ever bring these jobs back to America? No. So continue to cheer for the wealthy and continue to support the ever-widening wealth gap and continue to bring about the end of the American dream for millions of our middle class and poor families. But you are wrong. Dead wrong. And in my view, you are un-American. You are enabling the complete destruction of our middle class and are placing it, us in this country, replacing it with a third world socio-economic system of rich and poor. You, yes, you are what is wrong with America. This election is all about jobs for our middle class and a regeneration of prosperity for all Americans. And only Donald Trump will bring these jobs back to America. This election is not about God or touching a member of the press. It is all about the middle class jobs and bringing them back to America. All other candidates are destroying the American dream. So despite your destructive efforts, I think most Americans will want to bring these jobs back to America, and those who do will be voting for Trump. As always, may God continue to bless our American middle class. Thank you and goodbye.